So I would like to introduce you Eteka Sakalmi. She's a martial art coach and trainer at Origo Workshop, and she's going to introduce the year of 2024. And I give her the word also. Eteka, if you want, you can share more information about your background and expertise, hobbies, and something which is absolutely unimportant.
Sure, why not? Well, very, very warm welcome for you today because I think this is a special occasion to meet people who are very interested in enhancing things and making things better. And this is a very important aspect for me. I am working as mainly as a project manager in my daily job, and I have everything else, which I think mostly consists more time than my day job, let's say. I am a martial artist. I'm also teaching martial arts, qigong, energetic work, meditation, and of course, some of you know I'm working with 5 elements and other more and more complicated systems than that, because I find that in even modern days, it's very relevant, the information and the guidance it can provide us how to do our everyday things, because of course these are connected to spirituality, which is an important part for me as well, but it can give you a very, very practical knowledge of everything basically. But before we start, I would ask you to, or invite you to do a short thing with me. I will lead it. All you need is just your spine straight, and that's it. I will guide you through just to have a presence, because everything and anything you do, it makes it better for you. It gives you an openness and the presence if you do some mindfulness exercise, let's say a few minutes. Okay, so I'll ask you to just, you can do it with your eyes closed or open, whichever you prefer. And I ask you to tune into the present moment. We are at the end of the day. Now you've done a lot of things. You've been to places. Just come back to the present moment. Take a few deep breaths. Just feel yourself into what is. And we will do a quick check-in in all 3 levels. First, starting with the body, because that's the easiest. The body can only be in the present. So just check in with your body. Do it without judgment, without commenting, just checking in. Do the same thing with your energetic and emotional level, just checking in with your emotions. Again, what is, without judgment. How you feel. What is your energy level? And finally, the 3rd level, which is connected to our mind and spirit. Just check in with your thoughts. But don't think them. Just, this is a thought, and that thought I have, it's okay. Just leave them be. Now take a deep breath in while being on all 3 levels at the same time. And when breathing out, just arrive in the present moment. And just relax into it for a few more seconds, being present. Then again, take a deep breath in, flex your muscles, wiggle your toes and fingers, and open your eyes if it was closed. So welcome you in the present moment. And now let's see what's going on. We are already actually in the dragon year because you might not know, but there are, let's say, 2 year starts. One is what most people know about the official start, which is the Lunar New Year, which is in the coming weekend. But the solar New Year is always at the same time on the 4th of February. So we are already in the dragon energy. So this is the perfect timing to understand what's going on with this energy. But before talking about the dragon, there are a lot of other things going on at the same time, and it's good to be aware of. You know, in Chinese systems, there are a lot of cycles. They are thinking in different set of cycles. And these cycles are depending on the 5 elements and the Chinese animals and so on. And they have, they are there in a daily, in a monthly, in a yearly, and even bigger cycles. And we are in a special period of the time nowadays because a lot of cycles have ended and are restarting around now. And since the Chinese system works that the energy is going up and the other one is going down, and the new year or the new cycle is considered when the new energy is stronger than the old one was, then there are a lot of lapsing over. We have a 5-year cycle which ended November 2023, which was starting a new one. So whatever you did in the last 5 years has come to a conclusion, and you could start another 5-year cycle again. We are, of course, starting a 10-year cycle because the year we are facing now, the dragon, is a young wood, which is starting the 10-year period always. So again, there was a closing of the last 10 years, and there is a restart for the next 10 years. And you might have heard, if you were participating in our last webinar, that there is a 20-year period, let's say the biggest one in that sense, which is around ending and starting, and it's just arrived to the more tangible level in 2024. So if you think about this, we are starting a year, a 5-year, a 10-year, and a 20-year things. What is the effect or the impact on us? We might feel a lot of things moving around, a lot of things changing, and it enforces us to think through a lot of things which we might have not thought about in 5 years, in 10 years, or in 20 years, which is a good opportunity actually, but it might cause you some tension because it's like having a lot of moving parts at the same time. Because if these changes are not in the same time, then you still can have some pieces left intact and not changing. But since everything is changing, it means everything is moving a bit. So it has an impact on how stable you might feel. It has an impact on your emotions and your mental health as well. But what is the invitation here? The invitation here is to build upon what you have reached. And the young wood dragon, and let's move into how you can treat these cycles. And yeah, I should have started it why we are talking about this at all. In my opinion, you feel a year was a good year whenever you could move along and you could align yourself with the energies of the year. And you feel a year as a bad year when you were struggling because you couldn't align yourself. So if you know what to align with and how to do that, then every year is a good year. And to be able to do that, you need to understand what are the opportunities and what are the challenges which the specific year or the cycle brings you. So that's why we are talking about this. So the young wood dragon, of course, the young wood is starting things. But since we are in the middle of so many cycles, it does not necessarily mean to start a completely new thing. It means, as you imagine, a young wood is like a tree. You can imagine a tree. It sucks up all the nutrients, everything from the ground, and it just moves it up. So that's what we are asked to do, to elevate our things, to take our things to the next level. Because restarting a cycle doesn't necessarily mean that you are restarting it from scratch. It means that you are building on the things you achieved. You're building on your understanding, on your experience, on your knowledge. And from those of you who are already to some part aware of the 5 elements, when you start to build things with wood in the first place, and then you move to fire and earth, and then metal, and then water, the cycle doesn't end in water. It just restarts when from that water there's a new wood. And that's where we are at this moment, at the beginning of a new cycle, which is the elevation of the previous cycle. So the first thing you could do about your life is just think through the things. What is around the time to be taken to the next level? And it can be anything, basically, because everything is moving because of the different cycles overlapping. So it could be your dreams. It could be your relationship. It could be your relationship to yourself. It could be your relationship to the higher powers. It could be your work. It could be your health. A lot of things. And all of us have already received this invitation. So you just stop for a moment and just look around. What has been brought to you? What is in the spotlight in the moment? And that will lead you a bit on what to elevate. If we think about the dragon has more elements than one, but the main element in the dragon is young earth. And earth is about stability, is about your center, is about support, but also is about your free will and awareness of your choices. Because we are choosing, we are deciding every day about small things and about big things, but either we are doing it consciously with our awareness, or we are doing it by routine. We are doing it unconsciously by the different schemes, by the things we are used to. And the free will perspective in the dragon gives you the opportunity to rethink your choices. Is this really what I want? This has been a theme for some time now, but the dragon makes it stronger. The dragon makes it more important. It makes it a high priority for you to know what you are deciding, for you to understand that your decision, the consequences, because everything in life will be a trade-off. But there are trade-offs for each of us uniquely we are willing to make, or even we are happy to make, while others would take our happiness, others would cost our soul. And we need to be aware of these things, which are the good trade-offs for us specifically, and which are the ones we shouldn't do. That's, again, an impact it has on your mental health, on your emotional health, and even on your physical health. Because, for example, let's take a trade-off. I want to learn a new skill, but of course, a day is 24 hours. And if I'm already packed with things, I might not have the time to learn this new skill. But let's say I say, okay, I will sleep an hour less now. But maybe this is the time to do this trade-off because I can boost my health with other things. And let's say 7 hours is still enough for me to sleep. But let's say I'm already sleeping 6 hours. And if I take 1 hour from the 6 hours, already 5. That might not be the best choice. So you have to be aware of. And it has to be a conscious decision. And for those of you who have some understanding of the 5 elements, of course, young wood and young earth has a controlling relationship. And this will be an important part of the year. You would feel or could feel this restriction because this is a kind of restriction. It kind of forces you into situations. But this is not a bad thing necessarily. And this is not necessarily a forcing power. It's just you feel yourself forced. And there is a difference. And what could make you feel forced? That you are resisting the thing. Resistance would be a big thing because this is not the year to change or try to change the circumstances. But that doesn't mean that you have nothing to do or you are a victim. No. That means that you need to be clearly aware of your responsibility because you have things you have an impact on and you have things which are not in your area of impact. And you need to be able to discern these two things and take full responsibility for the ones you have an impact on. And then do and be active on that part. And on the other half, which is not within your responsibility, you just let go. You don't resist and force. Otherwise, you would feel that forcefulness of the year, that this is not something you would choose. So from mental health perspective, the feeling of being forced is not a good feeling, and it's not something you would choose for yourself. But if you focus on what your responsibilities are and take the full responsibility and do the actions, that could also help. Also, on the other hand, don't let the things you cannot do in a situation prevent you from the things you can do, because you will still have a lot of options. You will still have a lot of things if you accept that, okay, these are the boundaries, and I might have wanted to do a different thing, but now within these boundaries, what I can do for the goals or the directions I want to choose. Okay, Doilas, you want to ask something?
Yeah, so about this like controlling energy, I wanted to ask like, so young wood and young earth, does it mean that it will also show, let's say you are managing a few projects at the same time and you are like pouring energy to 5 different projects, let's say 5 different cups of water, and so this young wood young earth relationship, is it gonna show what's gonna work this year and where should the energy go and what you need to let go? Is it gonna show it more in a drastic way, as I understand, or did you mean something different?
It's my favorite answer. Those of you who know already know this, yes and no. Yes, because in a way, this controlling thing will give you some direction. But don't forget that Earth is about feel. So you need to choose between the projects and not let the year choose for you. Because priorities have to be your priorities based on the things you've built, because you have built a lot of things already based on a 5-year cycle, based on a 10-year cycle, a 20-year cycle. And this year is an elevation of those. So you need to choose out of these 5 projects. And again, there are a lot of things about a year, and I choose carefully what to talk about. But if you ask, I always extend these kind of things. And priorities is an important question this year, because priorities are based on who you are, or should be based on who you are, your values, the direction you want to take, and all these kind of things. And letting the year decide the priorities is like blindfolding yourself. And in a year like this is not very much recommended. It's not forcefully empowering things. Going against things is not what it means. It means that you decide what you want to do and you pursue it. You just don't necessarily define or decide how, but you still need a direction you choose. And this is on a big scale as well, and on a small scale. Of course, since we are in a lot of cycles, this could mean 20 years is a lot in a person's life. So it could mean what you want to do in your life kind of decisions, but also everyday decisions. Because most people think about change as a big breakthrough, and then everything will change and we will do and whatever. And I am a big fan of breakthroughs. But this is after a good breakthrough, what can keep the change ongoing are the little things, the everyday habits you do. And since it is still a wood heavy year, this would mean that how the wood grows is step by step. A tree does not grow like from one day and then another there is a tree. It grows an inch every day. So consistency is still working. So if you want to pull in things into your life, if you want to have new habits or whatever, consistency would be a key. Doing small things, but repeatedly, pulling in this energy would be supported by the wood. But on the other hand, if there are boundaries, so you start, let's say there are 5 projects, and 5 projects are a lot. And well, let's go back. In the 5 element cycle, you have wood, fire, and earth. And since we have a wood and earth control, what will harmonize this control or help to mitigate the feeling of control and forcefulness would be fire. And fire is all about action. It's about connectivity. It's about cooperation and community. So whenever you feel this forcefulness, wherever you feel restricted, whenever you feel that the boundaries are too small for you, then you take fire, you take action. No, don't think about it, do it. Thinking about and doing is 2 different things. And sometimes we just trick ourselves into thinking about the doing, but that's still not doing. We need to be careful about that. Here we need action. And connect with 3 levels. Connect with yourself, of course. Connect with your peers, the people, and connect with whatever higher power is. And being present and being mindful would also help, because that could enhance this fire energy. But since the year, if you take 2024 as a year chart, then there are more things in it than just earth and wood. There is a lot of fire. And why I'm bringing this up is because a lot of fire could very quickly give you burnout. And hopping back to the original idea, if you have 5 projects, that's for most people the quickest way to go to burnout very quickly. So there will be opportunities, like a lot of opportunities. And if you take each and every one of them, then you will slice and dice yourself very thin. But if you have your priorities, I'm not saying that don't do all of them. Maybe you can manage it. And there will be times in the year when you can manage more, and there are times when you can manage less, and you need to be aware of that. But still, I think priorities are important. Choose the ones you want to do and do it. And push your energy into that project. Usually, I love goal setting, and in a year which has a lot of wood element, goal setting is an important perspective. But what most people miss about goal setting is actually that we need a lot of time, energy, and effort just to maintain what is. And whatever we take as our new goals is above the maintenance. So you need to calculate. So when you are planning your goals, you need to calculate that some of your energy, your efforts, your resources will be taken by the maintenance of things, that you stay healthy. You need to sleep, you need to eat, you need to do a lot of things to stay healthy. You need to move. That needs time, resources. And just calculate with the remaining time to your goals. So again, this is a responsible decision that I see, okay, I have these things going on, and how much time and resource do I have above that if I keep everything going as it is? Another option could be, and again, this is discernment I was talking about earlier, that, okay, I have these things, and this is like 85% already of my time, and I want to bring in a project which would take 30%. Then just look at your life and what you can take off your plate. Even if it's temporary, then you can take off your plate to bring in the new thing, or elevate something to a higher level with a higher effort, with a higher thing behind. So you need to be careful around these things as well, so you don't get to burnout. Fire is experiential. However, if you think about wood and earth, they are more thinking oriented. And this could be, again, another polarity which you need to be aware of. Wood and earth are stable elements, which could mean rigidity and stubbornness in things. And you need to be careful about that, because that could cause this restrictedness to feel more serious than it is, let's say, because of your own rigidity and stubbornness in the topic. Because some of the clashes, like a fire and water clash, that's, you can see, that's very intense, that's ongoing, you cannot miss it. But a wood and earth clash is not that. It's a soft clash. It's frustration, it's dissatisfaction with things, it's tension. And it's not as obvious as the other one. And it means that without proper awareness, it can build up in you, because you don't feel this intensity, you will feel frustration. You will feel that you are not content, nothing is good enough, anymore, even things you like. You would feel tense and agitated, and that is the soft way of this clash to appear. And this can have, of course, a huge impact on how you feel and how you can handle yourself in the new year. So the polarity was between, the last one was between fire, which is action oriented, and this more stable wood earth line, which is more thinking and systematic approach oriented. And of course, the balance is always needed between the two. So you need a direction, but then you need action. Usually you would say, okay, I need a direction and then proper planning and the milestones and whatever and doing it, of course, but now you are more doing it on the go. You go in, and by taking proper action, by deciding your priorities, new windows, new doors are opening within the situation, which you would not be able to see from outside. And that's the important part. So if you are just thinking about it or thinking about acting on something, you might not see all the options you have until stepping right into it with the fire. But of course, if we are talking about harmony, let's say we are only halfway through, because we have wood, we have fire and earth, and that's mainly what the energy of the year is. So this means to have a full cycle or full harmony, you would need to bring in strongly a metal and water element in the year's energy. You could think about the year giving you some basics, giving you different things to build from, but it is your dream which needs to be built. And in a way, that's your inner truth, which should be put into the whole thing, which will make it alive. And water and metal are more yin elements, in that sense that if you consider wood, fire, and earth more young elements, more tangible ones, then the water and metal and the water are more intangible ones. This means less materialistic, let's say. So you have a good basis, and then you put your inner faith, your inner spirituality into the invisible part. It's your part this year to create full harmony. And what water and metal could mean? I already mentioned the connection part connected to the fire element, but naturally it has a deeper meaning, because connection to the higher powers are definitely within a metal and water. And this doesn't mean to be how religious you are. It doesn't connect. It's about your personal faith, personal beliefs, and restoring your connection to the universe or God or the Tao, whatever that is for you. Because this year, through the struggles, you can see that a person alone is very small, but we were never intended to be alone, unless we decide that we cut off ourselves, because we can do it, because that's free will. You can do whatever with your free will. But it invites you to restore this connection, to your personal connection to the higher powers, whatever that is for you, and cultivate this inner connection in various ways. And if you don't know how to do it, then find people who can show it to you. You don't have to do this alone, because we are all connected. We are not lone wolves anymore. This new era is not about single individuals doing things. It's about connection cooperation and connectivity. So find your people, find a community who can help you with those things, because this is like the environment for all of us, because this is happening to all of us, and we are not meant to do this alone. I could say find your tribe as well, because this is the same idea. And based on what you find your tribe based on, of course, I would say this, values, that you share the same values. Okay, are there any questions so far? Rurka.
Yes, I have one question. Like that, this symbol of dragon is very like in front of my eyes, behind you. So I'm just wondering, like that in the Western mythology, like a dragon is a very fearful, fiery creature. It's a creature of fantasy. So how does it come together with young wood and young earth in the Chinese medicine? And shall we think of the dragon the same way as we think of it in the Western legends and mythologies?
Well, no, of course not. I think in most of the Western mythology I encountered with, dragons are a bit more evil on the evil scale. And in the Chinese mythology, they are very, very, very positive connotation. They are the symbol of wisdom, of inner strength. They are often paired with either the phoenix or the tiger, because they are the wisdom, while like the tiger is the force and the dragon is the wisdom in that sense. So it's always the good or the better polarity they have. So in this sense, a dragon year, and they're always very, very strong. So a dragon year would bring you strength, bring you things to the courage to take the responsibility for the things going on in your life. But of course, if there is an opportunity presented to be strong, that might mean challenges, because only in the face of challenges we can be strong. Only in the face of challenges we can show our wisdom. But this is not a bad thing in this in Chinese thinking. It's just, again, another way to really see who you are. And the dragon is the symbol of that strength, of being in your powers. Other questions? These are good questions, so just go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Paula.
Hi, it's just a question about young elements. You talk about young wood. Just for a moment, is he an element that's just starting to grow? And if that is the answer, how much? Because last time you said about it's not like a split, then one end and the other one starts again. Actually, how much is a kind of transition time when there is still the old element, if that's the right word, carrying? So how much actually we need to bear in mind this passage between two different elements?
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. So usually how a year is built up, so seasonally it's always the same, because the wood is a spring and so on. And usually the strongest month of the year is the identical to the year, which means the dragon month. But the dragon belongs to the wood triad in that sense. So we have February is the tiger month, and then we have March, which would be the rabbit month, and the third month is already the dragon. So in the last few years, we might have get used to not having such a smooth transitions, because if the animal is further away in the year, then you have more time to get used to the energy of the year. But if it's closer to the year start, then it's more intense in the beginning. And yeah, of course, it depends on which one you prefer, because I think there is some personal preference. Some just want to have the main thing in the beginning and then just get it over with, and then take the energy through the year. And some would like to be prepared and just build something until the high peak of the year commences. So that is different. But in this year, the dragon would be in the beginning, so it's April. So the transition might not be as smooth, because it will show you in the beginning of the year, because of the very strong wood energy, how it starts, that okay, these are the topics, for example, you to take care of. And which is, I think, for me, this is like a help. You don't have to go and find the topics. It will be pushed right up to the surface. I hope I answered your question. Okay.
Maybe I I have one just question. So in Chinese mythology, also dragons are referred to actually as the masters of all the five elements. So like with the as the dragon is like flying in all the five elements like around him. I like those images a lot. So would you say that in this year also like the balance of those five elements, how you are able to balance that within? Is that also a topic, or that's something I made up? Well,
in Chinese mythology, you find dragons practically everywhere. There are different types of dragons related to all of the elements. Classically, they belong to East, to the wood element in that sense. But on the other hand, I think every year's topic is to balance the five elements, because that's when you feel that this was a good year, when you were able to do that. And of course, considering your private chart, your unique talents and dynamics compared to the year, that you feel it easier to do or harder to do. Because if it's a year which will bring you to more challenging areas, then you would feel it's a bit harder and you need to put in more work. And if the year is a bit more supportive to your elements, then you would feel it a bit more easy to deal with. But since this is cyclical, so there will be always years when you feel that it is easier, and always years when you feel more challenged. And I think that's a good part, because it's good to have some support, and it's good to have some challenges at the same time. Any more questions? Okay, I can, of course, go on from for a lot of time, of course. Yeah, Roxana, go ahead.
So you're saying like April is gonna be like the most intense month for so we have to expect like very rush changes or
no, that's not the point.
pushings. Like I imagine it like our goals and shadows also coming right in front of us, something like that.
Yeah, but it's not only your goals, yeah, of course.
Like something that stops me from achieving my goal, for example. Like
Yeah, and I know why you are coming from this direction. I understand that, but it's not when the year is the strongest. It's not only about the challenges. It's also about the opportunities. So yeah, the challenges could be stronger, but the opportunities are stronger at the same time. So you have more options. You have more wiggle room to think about and do things. And yeah, for some, it might be having more options might be more challenging than having less options. Because then you have so many things. And let's imagine that there are 5 things you always wanted, that you get all 5 and you have to choose.
Talking about choosing, yeah.
Because you can do all 5, of course, but then it means that you only do it 20% each. And then they are moving very slowly. And if you are not a patient person, then you would feel that nothing is moving.
Uh-huh.
Where are my results? You would feel.
Okay, I understand.
So this is the good part and the bad part at the same time.
Yeah, I imagine it like when the sea is like angry, so to speak, and like you have to choose if you try to keep your head above the waves or surf.
Yeah, but if you have a surf, why not?
Yeah, if you know how to surf, like just get on that board. Yeah.
And that's a good way of that, the year's energy, that get on with the things.
Mm-hmm.
You waited long enough.
This is like because the fire decade that we're getting, like I think this is the first year, yeah, and it's gonna push us.
Yeah, and also the year has a lot of fire energy in it, so it will intensify this, so that let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's a wood dragon this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, to be sure. Okay, thank you.
It's a wood dragon. Main energy. Yeah, it's a good point, because you know that the years are changing, and there is a yin year and the yang year and the yin year and so on. And the last year was more a yin year because of the energies, and now we have a yang year. And the difference is, let's say you can consider this as a direction. In yin years, the things are happening inside. You have to deal with a lot of things, and then from inside you pull them outside and show them. But in a yang year, a lot of things are happening outside. There are a lot of things going on in the world and intensity. But then those intensity have to have an impact on you, and you will pull in some of that intensity and work inside based on that. So the direction is different, and we have a yang year now, so we are expecting movement outside. We are expecting things going on in the world, but that has to have a personal impact as well. Any more questions? Go ahead.
Okay. If you, as a person like me, represent these elements mostly, so young earth and young wood, what consequences it has on me? Is it strengthening me, that because it's I'm aligned with it, or what could be the relation?
Yeah, we can talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good part is, of course, it strengthens you, because it brings back your elements. The bad part is that it strengthens you and makes you stubborn and makes you rigid in your approach, because you feel that you are right. The year gives you the energy that you are right. Why you shouldn't do the things your way? And the ugly part is that it enhances your inner, default way of working, which means the good part and the bad part also. So if you have issues with with this control between the earth and that will be intensified. You would feel more restriction. You would feel more of this intensity, this tension, this frustration, this dissatisfaction. Nothing is good anymore. But of course, if you just bring in the fire to connect these two, then you take away the edge of the control. If you make sure that you are working with metal and water, then you make a full circle, and then the energy can flow, and it will not matter anymore where the intensity is, because it will be led through and the flow will regulate itself. Okay, if no more questions, just let me summarize the few tips I have for this year, the important part. So because of this control I was talking about with Zhuzka's question earlier as well, this is something which builds inside of you without you noticing, until it reaches this breaking point when you just feel that nothing is working anymore in your life. So be aware of what's going on inside of you. And because if you can be aware and catch this when it's starting, then it will not escalate, and you will not go into the direction of being restricted, and you would go into the direction of resistance to what is. And why we don't like the resistance to what is? Because it's a useless fight with reality, and it takes a lot of effort, a lot of energy, which otherwise you could use to do things which you like, which you enjoy, to support your goals. But if you are fighting reality, this is a waste of energy. Also, the second important thing is make sure you know what is within your control and take responsibility for it. And whatever is not within your control, don't fight it. Just let that one go, and you can turn to the things which you have impact on. And the third important thing was this control can be remedied by fire, and fire would mean taking action, mindful action. Know your true priorities and not think about doing things. Do the things. And the last thing about the full harmony was about the missing elements of water and metal in this year, would be about your connection with the higher powers, your personal faith and beliefs. Don't cut this connection, because with your free will you can, but don't cut. You are not here to do this alone. Everyone is together in this. Find your tribe, find the like-minded people and connect. Very quickly, very shortly, these are the dragon year advices.
Thank you very much, Eteka. I don't know if there is somebody is eager to ask something relating to you or whatever.
Well, first of all, I maybe just say that thank you very much, as always. It's amazing. I was just curious if we still have time for. So there's the 12 zodiacs, and well, each animal has a different sign that or element that they are governing, and oh, so I see also Christina asked the same question. How is this year's energy? Yeah, like for each of the animals that have different governing elements.
Yeah, the reason I wouldn't go into this one, because in your chart you have 4 of them. And if you don't know what each part means, and it gets very complex on, because no, let's go back. So usually in let's say street astrology, they would say that what reflects you most is the year of birth, but that's not true. That what that is reflected is the most outest reality with everyone. But the deeper you go in your month, in your day, in your hour, different answers, different animals you get, and you need to be aware of what's going on those areas to have a full impact. And if we start to combine things, because you have 4 animals and not all of them are the same, then you need to be aware of, okay, this is in that area and how that relates to this other area, and then it gets really, really, really complex. So I wouldn't go into the street astrology part, but what we can do very quickly is maybe just address the day master, what it means for each day master, because that might be an easier part, because most of us identifies themselves with the day master and the energy the day master is, and that could give you an overview of what's happening. So we can go through that if that's okay for everyone.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that our time is officially up. So if you need to go, then don't feel embarrassed that you leave us. And it was very nice to meet you. And we are going to send you the recordings as well, and check out for our programs, because they are coming. And otherwise, you are very welcome to stay more and to have more conversation in this topic. So just go on, Natalka.
Okay, so of course, now I'm just addressing the day master, and of course, if you have other elements, as Jushka was mentioning earlier, which has a high number in your chart, that could have also an impact. But let's simplify this. So for a wood person, this would mean that they are strengthened in so many ways, but they would, because of the earth, their questions of what am I doing in this life? Why am I here? Would be heightened. So you would ask, okay, this life is good, but what's more? Why do we do this whole thing? And also, these are more long-term goal kind of things as well, because of the wood and the earth connection. But you need to do the connection. So I want to go into that direction, and how to get there, just step by step how to get there. For a fire person, this could see as a more easier in a way, if we are just thinking about the basics of wood and earth, because it is fire which harmonizes the two. But since there is a lot of fire, they need to be careful not to burn out, really careful, because a lot of opportunities mean that you are burning and burning and burning. But if you don't take care of the supply of wood and some control of water, which the year doesn't have by itself, then you would easily find burned out by the end of summer, which is half the year. So lot of opportunities, but be careful. For an earth person, the wood can bring a lot of control, but not only control, because a good control is a good sense of boundary, a good sense of regulation. And it can be used as a good thing and can be used as a bad thing. So either you treat it as a restriction, or you treat it as a good boundary. And it can teach you how to handle your boundaries. And what are the boundaries you are violating for yourself? For a metal person, using fire to harmonize the wood and the earth might not be as easy, because fire is the direct control of a metal person. But there are steps in harmonizing the whole year. And the first step would be using fire, so taking action, but taking mindful action. And with priorities, which usually a metal person can be very good at because they are very straightforward, they can take out the essence of things. Using that quality, the whole thing can be beneficial, because then the energy coming through the wood using fire and the earth would directly support them. And then it comes the water for them, which would mean to really take care of what's more in life, what's intangible. Their connection would be more important to the unknown part of things. Not necessarily, this is the higher power, but not necessarily just the higher power. Everything which is more in the unknown or the intangible of things. And for a water person, they need to find somehow support, because earth and wood are not supporting a water person. Wood is the next element, so it can help a water person to express themselves. It can help them to make things visible. But if you are moving outwards constantly and you are not supporting yourself, again, you will give too much out of yourself without proper support. So you need to be careful to take care of yourself in every way, in all three levels. So take care of your body, take care of your emotional part, energy part, and take care of your mental health as well. But if you do that, then it will bring you opportunities to show yourself more in the world, to show maybe things you were not able to show in the past few years, to dig the treasures and bring it to the surface. So just really quickly, an overview of the 5 elements. Okay. Any more questions or comments? Corina, go ahead.
It's not a question. I just wanted to say that I'm so happy to see you guys again.
It's good.
And I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces. And I really missed you. And I'm really looking forward for the next program. For sure. And thank you, Etelka.
You're most welcome. And thank you for your comment.
I'm also very happy to see so many familiar faces, and we are trying hard to repeat the programs, but the ones who don't know us, we live on Erasmus Plus support, and we try to integrate this unique method into youth work. And so far, the Hungarian National Agency was very open for that. And last year, we applied heavily, but none of them were accepted. So we tried again to make it a little bit more on the language of the requirements of youth work. So, but actually the courses were very successful. What we did so far on this topic, they were all 10 days, and we traveled already to the Azores. We were in Hungary, and we really explored the elements in their raw existence, just to make not just imaginary research, but real research. So, and we try to stay in this footpath and to elaborate more and to make it even more useful, practical for everyday life, and also for working with others and working with groups. Somebody wants to say something. It's still a couple of minutes to do so. Everybody's smiling who showed the picture. Okay, so the ones who you don't know us, it or didn't know us, it's a small. You could see who we are a little bit, like a glimpse of it. and I really encourage you to check our programs on our web page and on our social media pages, so you can see what's coming next. And the moment we are successful in a course, it will be there, and I hope that we can see more and more new and old faces, because the topic is never old, it's always fresh. As you can see, we have now the dragon.
Thank you very much.
Okay, then I say goodbye and thank you for Etelka as well. And
Thank
for
you.
Thank you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Ciao,
Bye.
ciao. Ciao. Welcome. I also say goodbye. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hallasz?
Felvétel.